Hi, Bill Barber from Poliigon here. In this video we're going to take a look at the Blocks Hollow Clay Generator, a SBSAR file now available on Poliigon. In a previous video I've already covered how to use these files, whether it's a case of exporting textures and bringing them into Blender, or by using one of the plugins directly within Max Maya or Cinema 4D. I'll link that video in the description below, but for now let's head over to Substance Player and take a look at this material. Okay, so I have Blocks Hollow Clay Generator loaded up into Substance Player. Yes, I did have to read the title there off the top. So let's take a look at what this SBASR file can do. First of all, as always, we have the output size up the top. By default it's at 512 because that's perfect for making adjustments. Once you start to raise the resolution, it does slow down a little bit, but at export you'd want to raise this to something nice and high probably. I'm going to actually raise it to 1024 because the editing's still relatively fast like that, so yeah. Anyway, let's head over to global parameters and get started. First of all, we choose our workflow. I'm leaving it on metallic roughness, but you can also choose the specular glossy workflow if needed. And the first controls we have are the bricks X and bricks Y amounts, which are pretty self-explanatory and allows for a huge amount of customization in the type of look that we get. Let's just set that to about there. Oh, no, a bit less. Something like that. Good. Next we have the mortar width. Pretty self-explanatory. That's the gaps between the bricks. So as we raise this up, we get a bit more mortar. On this particular one though, the mortar tends to bleed over the bricks rather than separate the bricks out, because that's the obviously the style that's intended here, and it looks really quite good. I like it. Anyway, I'll leave that about there. Next we have the bricks rotation random. This one basically adjusts the noise pattern that's sitting in the background deciding the colour of the bricks. So yeah, just fiddle with that one until you get the sort of look that you like. And then we have extrusion variation and tilt variation. These adjust basically the height maps of the bricks themselves. So if I kind of raise this up, you notice they start to poke out of the mortar more, and then you can kind of up the variations, so some of the bricks are poking out a different amount to others. Just adjust that until you get the sort of look you want. And then you have tilt variation, which gives a slight bit of tilting to individual bricks. It's a very subtle effect in this particular file, but yeah, that's what that does. Next up we have the bricks, where you can change the pattern for a start. I'll zoom in a little bit to see what that's doing. Basically changes what type of bricks are being used. This pattern 4's got like this kind of really scraped sort of look, but there's a couple to choose from there. I quite like that one, so let's leave that. And it's also where you can adjust the edge damage and the cracks intensity. Really subtle effects on that one, but yeah, they do make a mild difference. We can also choose the colour and have control over the roughness of the bricks. Like if I lower this down, they'll start to get kind of a shiny look like so, and then as we raise that, it goes more diffuse like that. Anyway, let's close those down and take a look at mortar. Same sort of controls there. We can control the slopiness of the mortar, which kind of, if you lower that, it flattens it out a little bit, whereas that makes it bleed over the bricks more. So I'll leave that about there. We can override the colour of the mortar, and also control the roughness of that. So you can make the roughness, the mortar, have more of a glossy look if you need it. After that we have the finish. This is where you can basically enable paint and paint over the walls. And then you've got various controls for the paint there. I'll disable that though. And then you have aging, where you can create that sort of effect, which looks pretty cool. Looks more like kind of old dirt, doesn't it? Yeah. Heavy dirt it's called, so I don't know, maybe it's kind of a factory sort of look and they've had spillages or whatnot, but yeah, it looks pretty good. You can also have like an overall control for the glossiness, and make the whole thing look kind of shiny and wet like so. And yeah, that's pretty much it. We also have top dirt and bottom dirt available. They do bear in mind it will break the tiling in the up and down direction. You're going to be able to tile it horizontally, but yeah, as long as you adjust the texture to match what you need for a wall, that's perfectly fine, and it is kind of a nice looking effect. And that's it. That's how you use the Blocks Hollow Clay Generator. After this, obviously, you'd export your files or set it up within your plugin, and move on to your next material.